Hi everybody, it's Jill. Today I'm going to talk about how I got to this point. How did I get to be almost 260 pounds as a 5'2" woman, age 25? But first, I'm going to show everyone my official first weigh-in. I didn't record it because I wasn't thinking when I did, but this was taken a little over a week ago, and I just did a second weigh-in yesterday that I will be posting later. So here it is. So yep, 257 pounds, and my highest ever was 259. So how did I get here? As a kid, I was pretty active. I did a lot of different activities, not necessarily like hardcore sports, but I did dance from the age of 3 to the age of 14. That was my favorite thing to do. I wanted to be a dance teacher. That's what my life revolved around. I did soccer for a little, did gymnastics and cheerleading for a little. I did karate for like 2 classes, that doesn't count. So I stayed somewhat active, and I was always outside playing with the kids in the neighborhood, jumping ropes, swinging, tag, all that good stuff, riding my bike. So I was pretty active. But my parents, I feel like there were like a lot of other parents in the 90s where Lunchables were a thing. TV dinners and frozen pizzas and chicken nuggets and mac and cheese, and it was awesome but awful at the same time. And so I never grew up realizing that people had home cooked meals every single day. I thought that was like a special like holiday occasion. I didn't realize people would have like fresh meat and veggies and a side and every single day. Like, I didn't realize people cooked every day. And so my dinners would consist of hamburger helper and chicken nuggets and a hot dog and stuff like that. So I never got a taste for different vegetables and healthy foods and correct portions and all that kind of stuff. So not that it's my parents' fault, because the bulk of my weight came on when I was a teenager, and I could have kind of monitored that on my own, but it really does start very young. Habits form very early, so I just never had good ones. And I remember I still have a good friend who was my neighbor, and I would eat my crappy dinner, and then she'd be like, "Oh, you want to come over for dinner?" And I'd be like, "Yes, please," because she would have like fresh meatballs or roast beef and a salad, and I'd be like, I wish my parents made this kind of dinner every day. But they had work, they were busy, So I would always want that kind of food that people are supposed to be eating, but it just wasn't available to me. So I was always, as a kid, maybe 5 to 10 pounds overweight. I wasn't ever really a thin kid, but I wasn't a fat kid. Until I'd say about 4th or 5th grade. I remember, I think it was in 4th grade, everyone was like, "Oh, I weigh 70 pounds. Oh, I weigh 80 pounds. And I was like, "Oh, I weigh 110 pounds. And I was shopping in like grown-up sections of clothing. Like, I wasn't in kids anymore. And I was like, oh, that's kind of strange. But I didn't, like, I felt bigger than everyone else, but I didn't like feel fat or ashamed. I don't think. I can't really remember. And then I remember by 8th grade, I was 13. I think I was 140, but at 5'2", and like 12, 13 years old, it was too much. But if I had at 13, 14 years old kind of gotten on the health train, then I would have been fine. If I was 140 now, that's perfect. Still a little bit more than a 5'2" person should be technically, but I'd kill to be there. So yeah, and then in high school, every year I was putting on about 20 pounds. And by the time I graduated high school, I was 200, 210. And then I stayed around that for a few years. And then when I was 21, I met my first boyfriend, and we were in a relationship for 4 years until just a few months ago. And he was also very big. So I started, when I met him, I was about 210. And I gained, up until now, I gained about 40 pounds in that relationship. And a huge part of it was because we didn't have so much in common, but we both loved food. He's over 400 pounds. He carries it very well. You never know it. But we both would just eat. We would go to convenience stores, and for the weekend we would just watch Netflix, lay in bed, and we'd have just like a spread of sweet and salty snacks, and we'd go out to eat like 5 days a week in fast food, a couple times a day, and it was awful. So I'm surprised I didn't gain more than I did. So it's kind of an overview of how I got here. There's more specifics, like kind of like, I don't know if I'd say I'm not diagnosed with an eating disorder, but it's like you kind of know, you read about it and you're like, oh, I do that. So I definitely say binge eating is something that I struggled with and still do. Well, not this past week, but I would do a lot of like hiding what I eat. Like even in my work backpack right now, there's like wrappers. I can probably pull some out right now. Like look, M&M wrappers, because I don't want people to know or see me eating all this junk food. That was from like months ago. I need to clean out my backpack, but like my mom bought one of those cookie dough fundraiser things. People sell like popcorn or cookie dough or just different fundraisers when you're in school. And she kept it in the freezer. And every day after high school, I would take a couple spoonfuls. And then like after a month, she went in to go make some cookies and it was almost gone. And she freaked out on me. She's like, you ate an entire tub of cookie dough by yourself? And like, it wasn't in one sitting, but I would like hide it. And same with brownie batter. She would get brownie mix, and every day after school I would kind of like just pour some out, mix it with milk, and like eat it like it was like brownie batter. And just like stuff like that I would do all the time, and I would always hide what I was eating so that I wouldn't get reprimanded for it. And I would always have a hard time eating in front of people because it's like, oh, the fat girl's eating. So yeah. And I was never really bullied at all that I can remember. There was one time where I was auditioning for a musical and we had to do a cold reading, which is where they just hand you a script and you have to, without rehearsing, read some lines from it. And there was one line that I had to say that was kind of like sassy. It was like, oh, you know you want me. And I was like so uncomfortable because I had, and still have, pretty much no self-confidence whatsoever. So I was like, so I said the line, whatever it was, oh, you know you want me. And then someone from the crowd, because there was people waiting to take their turn, someone sitting there waiting to take their turn was like, oh, you wish, or like, yeah, right, or something. So that was fun. But other than that, there was no real bullying that I can remember. Maybe I just blocked it out, or maybe it was all behind my back, or maybe it just didn't happen. I don't know. I didn't really put myself out there. I was very good at staying invisible because I felt like there's so much of me. I'm gonna try and make myself take up as small space as possible. I'm going to be quiet so that my voice doesn't take up much space. Like, I tried to stay a small presence because I was a big person. So different stuff like that I had to deal with. Definitely a lot of flack from family members, and I know they had my best interest in mind, but sometimes it gets to be too much. Sometimes it's like, I know what I have to do. What you're telling me isn't gonna help me. Like, I don't know. Yeah. What else can I say? Shopping. That was always a huge struggle for me. Because there's no, as like a young teenager, 20-something, you want to dress in nice clothes and not shop in the same places that all these grandmothers are shopping in. And then I discovered like Torrid. Even I worked at Lane Bryant for a little bit, and their clothes aren't my style, but it was better than, you know, some other places. But then Torrid was definitely more my style, but I can't afford to pay like $40 for a shirt and $60 for jeans that I rub holes in the thighs after a couple months. So yeah, it's been tough. And now these past couple months I've gained even more, and I can't fit into any of my clothes pretty much. And jeans are my favorite thing to wear. I wear them every single day, but now I have not one pair that fits me. And so I've been wearing these like sweatpant type things, and I feel like such a slob. Yeah, it's just, that's part of what is bringing me to this point. Another part is my health. I never felt super out of shape. I remember when I did soccer and we did the laps, I was always the last one, but that's like, I'm just not good at running, whatever. But I could always kind of move about my life like normal, and you know, I did dance and that was fine. And even as an adult, I joined an adult glee club, and I did the dancing and that was okay. But now I wake up, I am in excruciating pain. Just all my joints hurt all the time. I dread putting on my socks and shoes because I can't even reach them. And it's a struggle. And I like, whenever I'm leaving work and my boss is there, I work as a nanny, so I'm at someone's home, so I have my shoes off. And then like I'm saying goodbye to the kids, saying goodbye to my boss, and I'm trying to put on my shoes, and I'm like, I look so awful right now. I look so stupid. I'm struggling to put on my shoes. And that's kind of the biggest motivating factor for me, is I just want to feel better. I never imagined I would feel this bad until I was like 80 years old. But I'm 25, almost 26, and I feel like I can't live my life because I'm in so much pain and so uncomfortable. It's like wearing that sweater that you just need to take off, but you can't because it's attached to you. And it's so heavy, and it's just so uncomfortable every day. So that is why I'm starting this journey, and I need to be serious about it because it's not just for looks. It's 100% for my health and well-being and mental peace. So yeah, that's how I got here. And hopefully I won't be here for long. Tune in next time for more stuff and things.